Welcome to the Silicon Valley Podcast. This is Luis Rodriguez
Mm.
and Brittany Lewis. Today, we're diving deep into something
Yeah.
pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
Starlink's, push into rural Canada.
Interesting.
So Ontario just announced this $100 million deal with SpaceX to bring their satellite internet to a bunch of people.
Wow.
Over 15,000 in remote areas.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think, some people might be thinking like, okay,
Right.
cool, more internet.
Yeah, just more internet for everyone.
But this is a really big deal. Because imagine living in a place where, even checking your email is a struggle.
Oh, totally.
So this deal is all about tackling that digital divide,
It is.
head on.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, I think, for a lot of people in these communities. Reliable internet isn't a luxury.
Right.
It's a gateway to opportunity they haven't had before.
Exactly. And they're aiming to have this all up and running by summer 2025.
Ambitious.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems pretty ambitious to me.
It does.
What are your thoughts on that timeline? Is that realistic?
Yeah.
Given all the logistical challenges of reaching these really remote areas.
Yeah, it's definitely a tight schedule, no question.
Yeah.
But what makes Starlink so interesting is that it kind of bypasses a lot of the traditional hurdles.
Okay.
Think of it like this. Instead of, laying down miles and miles of cables,
Right.
which is super costly and time-consuming, especially in, rugged terrain,
Yeah.
they're beaming internet down from space.
Whoa.
It's a constellation of satellites constantly orbiting and covering even the most remote corners of the planet.
That's wild. And that's where those phased array antennas come in, right?
Exactly.
I saw that term in some of the articles I was reading.
Mm.
I wasn't quite sure what it meant.
Yeah, those antennas are key to Starlink's success. They can electronically steer the signal, like a spotlight almost,
Oh,
to
wow.
bypass obstacles like trees and maintain a really strong connection even in challenging weather.
So even if you're in
Yeah.
really dense forest,
Yeah,
you can still get a solid connection.
exactly.
That's incredible. It really feels like science fiction is becoming reality.
It does.
But the investment also covers installation,
Well,
which got me thinking about affordability for the end user. What's the picture there? Because even with this incredible tech, if it's too expensive,
right.
it's not going to bridge that digital divide, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Affordability is key. And this is where the Ontario government's investment makes a huge difference. Covering those installation costs removes a significant financial barrier for residents. Think about it, running cables to a single house in a sparsely populated area can cost thousands of dollars.
Wow, yeah.
That's just not feasible for a lot of people. So by absorbing these costs, the government's essentially making high-speed internet more attainable.
I can already see the ripple effects this could have. We're not just talking about faster Netflix here.
No.
This is about connecting people to opportunities they might never have had before.
Absolutely. Think about a student in a remote Northern Ontario community
Right.
who can now take online courses from a top university. Or a small business owner who can finally reach a global customer base.
yeah?
Or a family that can easily video chat with loved ones across the country. This tech can be transformative. It can empower entrepreneurs, improve access to healthcare through things like telemedicine, and even help preserve Indigenous languages through online education programs.
It's exciting, but I also wonder, are there any potential downsides to this kind of rapid technological shift? You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Something new comes along and it disrupts everything.
That's a crucial question to ask. While the potential benefits are huge,
Right.
it's important to be mindful of the potential challenges as well. For example, how do we ensure that these communities are equipped to navigate these changes?
Right.
How do we prevent the creation of a new kind of digital divide within these communities where some people benefit while others get left behind?
So true. It's not just about bringing the technology.
Yeah.
It's about making sure everyone benefits from it.
Exactly.
Now let's zoom out a bit. We're talking about over 15,000 people here, which sounds like a lot. But in the grand scheme of closing the digital divide in Canada, is this a significant step or just a drop in the bucket?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's kind of a bit of both. Symbolically, this is a huge statement.
Okay.
It shows a real commitment from the government to connecting rural communities. But it's important to remember that this is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Canada, like many countries, has a long way to go in bridging the digital divide. There are so many other initiatives out there. Some are focusing on expanding fiber optic networks. Others are promoting community-owned broadband solutions. And of course, affordability remains a huge barrier for many.
So Starlink is one potential solution.
Yeah.
But it's not a silver bullet.
Exactly. It's an important step.
Yeah.
but it needs to be part of a broader strategy.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. So we've learned about Starlink's potential to connect the unconnected, the ambitious timeline, and the potential impact on rural communities, both good and bad.
It's a story that's still being written, and I think the most interesting chapters are yet to come.
You know, this whole conversation makes me think about how technology is reshaping our understanding of what community even means. Like if geography becomes less of a barrier, how does that impact the way people connect and interact? Something to ponder for sure.
Definitely